What is your name?
Subaru. Bernadette Subaru.
How old are you?
Just past 20.
What can you do?
Oh, nothing that amounts to much.
Oh, so lovely. Welcome, my friends, to another episode of the Top 10 Favorite, and from what I believe are the best performances by some of the greatest actresses in all of classic Hollywood. Yes, per usual, I am starting from 10 and then waltzing as well as staring lovingly into the camera just so you can see my princessy-like face all the way up to number 1. And always remember, my friends, I have seen every single film attainable by each artist, so each list here comes from truthful, romantic, and yet classically passionate accuracy. Welcome to February, which is the time of romanticism, just in time for Valentine's Day. Let's talk about an underrated actress who has indeed graced our screens countless times with magic and beauty. The iconic Jennifer Jones. Born as Phyllis Lee Isley, the only child of Philip and Flora May, owners of the Isley Stock Company of Tulsa, Oklahoma, a tent touring show that traveled all around the Midwest. It was only natural that Phyllis wanted to be a part of this fun. So the acting bug bit her pretty early on, inspiring her to study at Northwestern University in Chicago, to then making her way up to New York at AMDA, where she would meet the first love of her life, Robert Walker. The two would marry, have 2 children together, and try to conquer the Hollywood land as actors, though not at such a good start. Phyllis making only 2 measly films before being disenchanted, but still finding feasible work as an accessory model, hats, jewelry, gloves, that sort of thing. It wasn't until a certain screen test, urban legends saying it was Gone with the Wind, but it was actually the film adaptation of the play Claudia, which ended up going to Dorothy McGuire. Phyllis thought she gave a horrendous screen test, literally running out of the room in tears, but big-time producer David O. Selznick. What's the O stand for?
Zero, nothing. I tell you.
That's right. He saw Phyllis's screen test and practically fell in love instantly. With the classic long hand of the Hollywood producer like Selznick, Phyllis Isley would become Jennifer Jones and become one of Hollywood's greatest leading stars. Jennifer Jones, my friends, a very obscure yet underrated actress. Very much so. Her career is really not that extensive if you really look at it. However, through all 26 films she did, she had made some of the most popular and exquisite pieces of cinema we have the pleasure of enjoying and remembering. It is well known, though, the controversy spouted was that her reputation as a star was only as good as how powerful her producer was. And when you marry your producer like David Zero Selznick, you are, for the most part, guaranteed the best roles. I mean, just like Norma Shearer with Irving Thalberg. Though she had that tough cloud of judgment and feeling of undeserved praise hanging over her head, she still brought the goods as an actress. No matter what role you saw her in, she represented this dreamy, fantastical, romantic quality about her that was ever so captivating, whether you liked it or not. And she wasn't just an actor for film. If you remember her appearance in a Broadway production of The Country Girl with Rip Torn. When it comes to some of the more popular, beautiful, and powerful actresses in Hollywood history, there was certainly no one like Jennifer Jones, who practically embodied the ideal of a princess. So all you romantics out there, here are the top 10 best performances of the Oscar-winning princess with a sincere heart of gold, Jennifer Jones. Okay, starting off at number 10, Clooney Brown. Yes, a delightful piece of honest, yet some ridiculous acting from Jones, in a good way, very positive.
Oh, I feel lovely. I can't quite describe it. I feel chirrupy.
From the brilliant, legendary director Ernst Lubitsch, based on the novel by Marjorie Sharp, Jennifer has more fun in her heyday of box office powers as the cutesy Clooney, a loony practically, who's not much of a plumber, but sparks some interest in Adam Belinsky, played by the smooth Charles Boyer. But she's forced to work whatever kind of job, such as a maid for a hoity-toity family, who aren't that bad, but Clooney's antics could get the best of her.
Nuts to the squirrels!
It may have to transition to a loving relationship with Adam. Jennifer is her usual fun-loving self in these young roles, when she's only 27 here, but yet she had the strong youth of 18. You talk about an actor who fought to keep themselves young for roles. Good on Jennifer for giving her Looney Clooney some genuine and entertaining love. Number 9, the man in the gray flannel suit. This might be a genuine surprise for many, but folks, I will stand by this film and Jennifer Jones' performance any day of the work week. And given to star Gregory Peck's work schedule in this film, it is literally every day. If you know the story, Peck is a family man at heart who loves his wife, played by Jennifer, and his 3 kids in their little suburban home in Connecticut. But his actions tells us he loves his work way more in Manhattan as a writer, since he's struggling financially as a writer, but may have an opportunity to rise up at a television network. But he feels he needs to be a yes man at every cost, even meaning the cost of his own family. Based on the iconic novel by Sloane Wilson, there's enough dislike of this film out there saying it's too long and such a slow pace. And yes, there are perhaps a few things to snip, but it's directed very efficiently and such a significant film of its time, with Jennifer Jones perfectly cast, in my opinion, as Peck's loving wife, but has strong dreams and aspirations of her own. Jennifer's vulnerability is just right on. As you can see, she is combating the faithfulness to her husband, even when the shit hits the fan and she finds out Peck had an affair overseas and has a son.
And to think that for 4 years I sat here and waited and believed that love meant faithfulness. That you loved me the way I loved you. That whatever it might be for others, it could never be anybody else for you or for me. You know, I believe that so deeply that I never even thought about it.
Seeing Jones in such a mature role like this gives hope to young female actors and how they can grow into a woman of strength within Hollywood. Number 8, Good Morning, Miss Dove. One heartwarming performance from Jennifer as Miss Dove herself, a very strict yet inspiring teacher who one day experiences horrible back pain and is carried in a very dramatic fashion to the hospital by past students of hers, including Robert Stack. As she preps her surgery, she reflects on her past students and what help she may have given. Based on a novel, yet again, which was based on 3 short stories, Fox originally wanted Olivia de Havilland to take on the role of the terrible Miss Dove, given to how firmly strict she is that it comes off being nasty. But she was too busy, Olivia. Jennifer Jones indeed next in line, and you talk about a very mature performance that truly outshines everyone. It's the kind of performance from Jennifer that is very well seasoned and earned, for majority of it is told through flashbacks, and Jones obviously ages throughout. It gave Jones a chance to really show a stern and perspectively cold side, which audiences really did receive well. It is Jones' beautiful performance that elevates the film to something much more than just a family love letter to teachers. Number 7, Love is a many splendored thing.
In the next life, let us be birds.
According to the laws of reincarnation, in the next life, I will be a woman and you will be a man.
Oh, no. I refuse to be a man. You have reconciled me to being a woman.
All right, I'll take you as you are.
I'm sure you're all very glad I did not sing. The 1952 classic with a little extra love added to its title that the book didn't have. Interesting. Based on Dr. Han Suyen's own story in Hong Kong during the Chinese Civil War in the late 1940s. And with all the great Asian talent all around the world, who is the perfect choice to play Han? Why, Jennifer Jones, of course. Yeah, retrospectively, this certainly does not feel right with Oklahoman American Jennifer Jones portraying a respected yet controversial doctor. However, the controversy part seemed more fitting for sure. The classic times of American actors portraying different ethnicities can amaze any new viewer in these current times. But to be frank, it seemed like a great example of range for actors back in the day. And we have to admit, Jones still looks lovely, even though audiences still criticized her casting, and she complained heavily about her own makeup, making her think she looked old and ridiculous. The controversial facts of the story, if you haven't seen it, are Han and American correspondent Mark Elliott, played by William Holden, falling in love with each other during this awful time of the war. But the biggest thing is that how she can be in love with him when he's actually married with children. Audiences ate this film up, earning 3 Oscars for costume design, Alfred Newman's score, and the iconic original song, which, yes, I won't sing for you, don't worry. And Jennifer Jones delivers some quiet and giving moments as Han, despite all the wild reports on set of her being downright rude and nasty to the cast and crew, especially Holden. The reports said she despised him heavily, and they hardly spoke until they said action. According to Holden, Jones would chew on garlic right before their love scenes to apparently prevent Holden from doing anything, trying anything sneaky, considering he was a notorious womanizer. Holden wanted to make peace with a flower bouquet, but Jones threw the bouquet right back in his face. You can't stop a great star, a great female star, from protecting herself and defending herself against a common womanizer. We have to remember how she was feeling at this time of filming, coming off of 2 flops on top of her Broadway debut in The Portrait of a Lady, which also flopped. So you can say she was really on edge, and I'm positive she herself was surprised at her certain behavior, making a film that didn't seem right for her to be in. But in the end, her performance still garnered her 5th and final Academy Award nomination for Best Actress that became a significant film and significant lesson for Jones in her great, tight career as an actor. Number 6, Since You Went Away.
Our honeymoon.
Oh, my baby. My poor baby.
This might be a little too low for some, but in retrospect, I think it still works here, given to it being Jennifer Jones' 2nd Academy Award nominated performance for Best Supporting Actress this time, even though she clearly is more leading here, playing the oldest teenage daughter of Claudette Colbert, also in an Oscar-nominated performance, who battles with the constant stress of war on their American home front, which will about to escalate even more after she learns her new boyfriend, played by Robert Walker, has to go to war as well. You wouldn't believe who produced this one, folks. Get ready. David O. Selznick. That's right, which was technically his first film working directly with Jennifer on set, even though her first film as Jennifer Jones was certainly groomed by Selznick. However, her performance here is very much classic Hollywood, almost an idea of what she thought Vivian Leigh looked like in Gone with the Wind. But no. She turns her head towards the camera every single chance she gets, just in case the audience forgot how beautiful she was. However, that still doesn't disrupt some of the greatest and most honest moments she has in her whole career here. All of her scenes, with consistent co-star and dear friend Joseph Cotten, are wonderful and sincere, as well as the sweet scenes with Robert Walker, her real-life husband at the time. It was a great feat for her personally, considering that their marriage was falling apart horribly, while Jennifer was having an affair with Selznick. When filming their passionate scenes, Walker and Jones, after the director yelled cut, Jones would start tearing up and run to her dressing room because she couldn't stand giving such love to Walker in those scenes. They would officially divorce after the film wrapped and move on the best they could with their careers. There was certainly a time when they both loved each other dearly, had 2 children together, so I believe we can look back and admire the romance that was once there, even though in the actual context, it was professionally put on. The most iconic scene, of course, is when Robert leaves for war on the train, and the beautiful chase Jennifer has saying goodbye, I think seals the deal in how much she did actually love Robert Walker. It's finally expressed, and it is so heartbreaking.
Open it your watch. You shouldn't. You'll need it.
Goodbye, darling.
Oh, Bill, I'll keep it. I'll keep it with me all the time.
So long, darling. Goodbye. Take care of yourself.
Bill! Bill! Goodbye, Bill.
Goodbye, darling.
Goodbye, darling. I love you. I love you, darling.
And what a great gift for an actor like Jennifer to give great moments like she does here. Number 5, Carrie. Not to be confused with the 1976 Brian De Palma classic. Remember the personally underrated romantic and yet tragic story featuring Jennifer as Carrie Meeber, traveling on at the turn of the century to start a new life in Chicago? Sounds familiar, but she meets Eddie Albert, a charming salesman to sweep her off her feet, while at the same time meeting Sir Laurence Olivier. So emotionally, it's goodbye, Eddie Albert, hello, Sir Lawrence, until she finds out Sir Lawrence is miserably married to another woman. Based on the novel, yet again, by Theodore Dreiser, director William Wyler, the great Wyler, did not want to cast Jones as Carrie, fearing she wouldn't be strong enough for it. But by the big red hand of Selznick, you had no choice. So Jones arrived on set and I think does wonderfully as Carrie, giving us a sincere portrait of a young hopeful, again, wanting more for her life. But true love seems to halt her in the way. Still, Olivier wasn't a fan of working with her, feeling she wasn't up to snuff. And it's true that Olivier's performance really is the best thing about this film. Jennifer, once again, seems so present. She worked so hard to keep from the cast, crew, and the whole department of her pregnancy while making the film. But the sad part is, the heavy and tight corsets of Jones' wardrobe, designed by the great Edith Head, has been believed to be the cause of Jones' miscarriage just later that year. It would be then leaked in the papers and reported by Luella Parsons. But like a strong actor, Jennifer still held her head high, and in the end, turns in a powerful performance to be remembered. Number 4, Love Letters.
Well, and there's something in my past. I don't know what it is, but it's something horrible. Alan, if I remember someday it might hurt you, and I couldn't bear to hurt you.
Ah, yes, the romantic film noir based on, you guessed it, another novel called Pity My Simplicity. Speaking of which, it really is no big deal, since film adaptations from books were and still are a constant thing for Hollywood. But it is just funny how a majority of Jennifer Jones' career has been made from book to film adaptations. She just has one of those amazing classic faces. Anyway, here she plays Victoria, a hopeless romantic who marries the man whom she thinks wrote her all the greatest and most lovely letters while he was fighting during World War II, when in actuality, it was the man's comrade, Alan, played by Joseph Cotton, who ends up falling for Victoria, not knowing of a mysterious and dark condition she develops. We certainly do have a case of Cyrano de Bergerac here, don't we? And though I'm not a fan of the script novelist Ayn Rand did here, Jennifer Jones just lights up the screen with this narrative. She certainly has a lot to do with the character of Victoria, which captures you. Film number 2 between Jones and Joseph Cotton, who just fit perfectly together. Yeah, absolutely perfect. Ann Richards was originally going to play the lead, but of course when you have a major producer at hand like Hal Wallace actually here, he had to get established stars, so why not borrow Jennifer and Joseph Cotton from Selznick and experience a whole bunch of micromanagement? That's of course what happened. But we received still such honesty and dear vulnerability from Jennifer, which really picks up in the latter half. It certainly isn't perfect, but Jennifer still shines in her 3rd Academy Award nominated performance for Best Actress.
Shapes coming forward I should recognize, but when I reach for them, there's nothing there.
Here. I'll help you.
Oh, yes, help me.
Number 3, Duel in the Sun. This was a tough one, folks. Just as tough as Pearl Chavez here, portrayed by the Jennifer Jones in her 4th Academy Award nominated performance for Best Actress. Based on the novel indeed, we have Pearl, a half-mestiza temptress who is ordered to go live with distant relatives in West Texas, but is really taken in lustfully by the brute SOB Lute, played by Gregory Peck. This romance could very well stir some destruction within the family business. This was made to be David Selznick's next big monumental blockbuster, with Jennifer taking the lead, of course. Stacked cast, set during the American West, the brilliant and honestly best period for Westerns, released post-World War II. This was originally going to be an RKO production, with John Wayne and Hedy Lamarr, eventually leading to Teresa Wright But once RKO sold the script to Selznick, yep, Jennifer waltzes right in. But oh no, she doesn't come off that easy. One can look at this picture and see the offensive makeup done on Jennifer to reflect a half-breed woman, yes, but we always have to remember that Jennifer was always committed to a role. She gave maybe not the best you expected, but her own personal best. Through all the clearly operatic movements in this film that can be deemed as over the top, nicknaming the film Lust in the Dust, there are truly some masterful and moving moments from Jennifer that take your breath away. Without spoiling the ending, the final confrontation between she and Gregory Peck is edge of your seat entertainment. And to see Jennifer in such a badass role, a powerful transformation, it's such a great arc for her that you'd never thought you'd see. You'd never thought you would see prim and proper Princess Jennifer Jones wielding a frickin' rifle to take down her lover.
Right now! Stay there!
The sweat on her brow, hungry for it, but yet hating the fact that she still loves him. Toxicity at its finest, folks. The film barely broke even, so it was the beginning of the decline of the Selznick and Jones team. But for actors and filmmakers everywhere, Martin Scorsese included, Jennifer Jones' brave performance still stands the test of time, of going against the grain and achieving something more for your craft. Number 2, The Song of Bernadette.
My love, my beautiful one. My dove in the clefts of the rock, in the hollow places of
I'll
the
never
wall,
see.
show me thy face.
Oh, I'm sure you think this was a majestical mistake on my part. And nope, it's correct. These top 3 were extremely difficult, folks. Jennifer Jones, in technically her big film debut under the new catered creation of a name by David Zero Selznick, Jennifer Jones, in her first Academy Award nominated performance for Best Actress and her only win for Best Actress at the humble age of 25. The Song of Bernadette, folks, is truly one wonderful film that has everything working magically well for it. When you have a beautiful and efficient script by the great George Seaton, masterful direction from Henry King, a brilliantly stacked cast including Anne Revere, Charles Bickford, Vincent Price, Lee J. Cobb, Gladys Cooper, and more, all resting on the shoulders of a young and lovely, at the time of filming, 24-year-old Jennifer Jones, portraying 14-year-old Bernadette, based on the real Bernadette, who reportedly saw visions of the Virgin Mary in the southwestern part of France. As you can guess, Bernadette faces all the obstacles and doubt from her whole town, even her own family, so much that it becomes downright cruel. But in actuality, oh, so true. Because she is so innocent yet slow in thought, she attests her truth and visions and needs help more than ever to prove, and through a few sightings of actual miracles, the town may be able to believe her and restore the power of faith themselves. I love everything about Jennifer Jones' performance here, folks, because you clearly see how she didn't need to do anything more. She was indeed aware that she was going to be a brand new star after this, especially if Selznick was behind it. But with a story that was centered all around her, she just had to stay, for lack of a better term, simple, subtle. And some audiences can grab that as a negative, but personally, it's what makes the whole film cook, makes it completely fragile and honest. Other great actors were in the running for it, like Anne Baxter, Teresa Wright again, and Gene Tierney. But when director Henry King did the screen tests, he practically cast Jennifer Jones on the spot, considering the major factor that, in his own words, when I told her to look beyond the camera at a shining light, she didn't just look, she saw. She sells every single one of those moments where she is looking at the great miraculous discovery. In the film's case, actress Linda Darnell portraying the Virgin Mary, but you absolutely see the light and faith in her eyes. It is utterly gorgeous. If you know the true story, then yes, dramatic liberties are taken, but when you have a sincere performance like this of Jennifer's, why should it bother us? It certainly was the film that made Jennifer a bona fide star, and the legendary team of Jennifer Jones and David O. Selznick was born. But honestly, it wouldn't be as legendary if Jennifer Jones wasn't a phenomenal actress, which with her Oscar-winning performance here, you should all have the faith in the world. Now, folks, here are some honorable mentions. Terminal Station, otherwise known as Indiscretion of an American Wife in America, due to massive creative differences between director Vittorio De Sica and David Zero Selznick, to say the least. However, if you see both versions of the film, whether Terminal Station or Indiscretion, Jennifer Jones still comes out very effective and poignant. At this time, she was really struggling while making the film, for she was missing her sons, who were in school in Switzerland, as well as grieving the death of her first husband, Robert Walker, who had just died of an alcohol and drug combo. She developed a little crush on Monty Clift, which, who wouldn't, but obviously was not received. So it was indeed a little mirror to the narrative of the film. It would be among the first big signs of mental health needed for Jennifer, since her heart, her body, and her mind was beginning to really be overstimulated. In the end, we still have commitment from Jennifer. Despite whether it was enough or not, she came and showed up. Ruby Gentry, oh by golly, turn off the pumps on this one, featuring Jennifer as title character. A poor, sexy backwoods girl marrying Carl Malden, even though she still has strong, deep-drawn love for Charlton Heston. I mean, who the hell doesn't again?
Spelled out the way you feel.
Get out of here! I swear if you don't get out of my sight, I'll blow your head off.
She tries and tries, and by the time we get to that ending, which I won't spoil, you still see the power that Jennifer possessed.
What have I done? What have I done?
Gone to Earth, the brilliant and exquisite treatment of Mary Webb's novel of the same name by the genius filmmakers Powell and Pressburger, which was once again sadly cut and edited as The Wild Heart for American audiences by the control-hungry David Zero Selznick again. Reshot majority of the scenes with, you know, the unnecessary prologue, the over-explanatory dialogue to condescend to audiences, shot with director Ruben Mamoulian, only keeping 35 minutes of the original film. However, in 1985, the British Film Institute restored Powell and Pressburger's original film and has been hailed as one of the great British regional films. And indeed, Jennifer Jones' performance is much, much better in the original film, for it wasn't forced to cater to her stardom, it was catered to her as an actor. Big, big difference there. She shines so bright with that Technicolor, showcasing how vulnerable she really can be. Madame Bovary, pardon my French, but this film adaptation of the 1857 novel, which also features the real-life trial of author Gustave Flaubert, played by James Mason, fighting for his novel as he narrates it, is one of note, since Jennifer Jones playing the Madame partners with the amazing director Vincent Minnelli to create such a romantic yet controversial fantasy of yet again adulterous affairs. However, the film itself comes up short quite a bit. Dull in places, slow in pace, but not the ball scene, that's for sure. And Jennifer really could have been much better had she had been given more succinct direction from Minnelli. She always does wonderfully with the innocent dream of wanting more and becoming more, so no one could ever take that away from her. The Towering Inferno. Oh yeah. Jennifer's final film appearance, which earned her a Golden Globe nomination for Best Supporting Actress in a film where acting isn't necessarily the focus. The pyrotechnics and special effects are, for sure, in Irwin Allen's big American disaster box office smash hit. But when you just happen to have a stacked cast for these disaster flicks like, Steve McQueen, Paul Newman, Faye Dunaway, William Holden, Robert Wagner, Richard Chamberlain, Fred Astaire, you're bound to have great performances here, like you do with Jennifer. Her performance again is so sweet and is the beautiful heartbeat of this film, and her chemistry with Astaire is what keeps us, the viewer, ever so captivated and engaged. It's not every day you get a beautiful theme written for you by the great John Williams either. Apparently, Olivia de Havilland again was offered the role first, but refused. So, second banana again. And speculation came up again that she bought her role because of her third husband, Norton Simon, who had strong financial influence in 20th Century Fox at the time. However, whatever the case may be, Jennifer Jones still gives it beauty. A character to root for and to love. And major spoiler here, folks. I have to share it. I'm sorry, but spoiler on this one. The most traumatizing spoiler at that. If you've seen it, you know. When that elevator bursts and she hands off the little girl and falls out of that hanging elevator, screaming, hitting the side of the building and still falling on after that. Oh my God. It was traumatizing for me as a kid when I watched this. One of our most beloved characters in this film, dying so quick and so brutally. It was as sad as it was losing Shelley Winters in Alan's other disaster epic, The Poseidon Adventure. For being Jennifer Jones' last film, and not without trying, she did try to get Terms of Endearment greenlit with her playing the mother role, which went to Shirley MacLaine. Here, she at least leaves a performance that we all cared for and makes us remember a classic actress we will always adore. Number 1, Portrait of Jenny.
I'm Jenny.
Jenny? Jenny what?
Jenny Appleton.
My friends, yes, a surprise, perhaps, but I believe it is quite clear in the whole vastness of Jennifer Jones' significant career, considering her darling, star-bright performance as Jennifer Appleton, or Jenny here, showcases Jennifer Jones in every confident and strong facet of her craft, representing pure innocence to then pure maturity, but overall, a pure fantasy based on the novel, of course, still produced for cinema by Selznick. It tells the story of Eben, an impoverished painter looking for work, played by the brilliant Joseph Cotten. He meets a young 10-year-old girl named Jenny in the cold winter streets of New York, and they develop an adorable connection. As some time passes, merely a day or two, he finds Jenny again, looking a tad older, 13, and it strikes him differently. But they engage endearingly, building friendship. And as each encounter grows, Jenny grows older, which begs the question, is Eben traveling through time for certain moments with Jenny? Or is Jenny a ghost gravitating towards the love that's meant to be built with Eben by the time she reaches her late 20s? If you have not seen this film, my friends, I urge you immediately to see it. For what was a stress-filled production, having 5 different writers rotated out, Selznick losing himself over everyone, the DP, Joseph August, passing away from a heart attack on set unexpectedly, going over budget, difficulty filming on location in New York, etc., etc., and features Jennifer Jones in a performance that very much challenged her to count on herself and her abilities. When she did Song of Bernadette, Duel in the Sun, etc., life was good for the most part. But what about when you're working on a film as an actor and the studios aren't behind you? You've had flops before, and so the pressure is on, and you have to play a role that requires you to age, in this film's case, 7 times. And each scene is so authentic and truthful as we see Jennifer grow from cutesy, frolicking in the snow to the mature, intelligent, promising young woman that Eben really does fall in love with. But can he really have her forever?
We have all eternity together, Eben. Can't you see? We were lonely, unloved. Time made an error. But you waited for me. And so we found our love.
Now we must lose it?
No, Eben. Now we're just beginning. There is no life, my darling, until you've loved, been loved. And then there is no death.
It absolutely cradles your heart. The absolute best she and Joseph Cotten have ever been together, which amazingly enough, never resulted in them having an affair, for they were just true great friends. So great that Jennifer would actually introduce Joseph to his second and final wife, Patricia, whom were married at Jennifer Jones and Selznick's home. That's how close they were. This is honestly the most confident and genuine we would ever see of Jennifer Jones, personally, which resulted in the film sadly flopping commercially, losing so much money on the film's whopping $4 million budget, but winning an Oscar for its special effects. And retrospectively, it is a fantastical cult classic, best of its genre of romantic fantasy, and no one really did it better than Jennifer Jones. She really mastered the genre of romantic fantasies, living a true portrait of Jenny Jones as seen in the film as the symbol of grace and dignity.
Oh, heaven, is it really of me? I think someday it will hang in a museum and people will come from all over the world to see it.
The two main words that really sum Jennifer Jones, grace and dignity. Never a star for the camera, nor a spotlight on the red carpet, honestly. Even though she was an incredible model and the camera loved her, she still reserved such a shyness about her, which can really only say how much she just loved to work, not just in film. Her later career became much more than just film. After the death of Selznick and then her dear actor friend Charles Bickford, she attempted suicide, and not long after that did her 21-year-old daughter Mary actually commit suicide, giving life to Jennifer, starting the Jennifer Jones Simon Foundation for Mental Health and Education, aiming to destigmatize mental illness at a time when mental illness was really not talked about, was really not sought after too much, especially for Hollywood stars. I cringe when I admit I've been suicidal, had mental problems, said Jennifer Jones. But why should I? I hope we can re-educate the world to see there's no more need for stigma in mental illness than there is for cancer. And right she was, for mental health has become a highly popular piece of medicine that have saved people's lives. She became the chairperson of her husband Norton's museum, carrying it forward until 2003 and then passing away at the humble age of 90. She was and always will be every bit of deserving. For retrospectively, her story has and will continue to help many female actors who have suffered from mental illness, whom have felt like they weren't good enough. Everything was handed to them, and help them to become and own the best versions of themselves, remembering there is always good in you if you truly want, desire, and work hard to be good.
Life's beginning again.
Tell me, my friends, do you agree with my picks? What are your favorite performances of this underrated icon, Jennifer Jones? Please share in the comments below. I always love more comments. If you like this, please click like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Patreon, and Spotify channel if you like to receive more and more content. Thank you all so very much for watching. Keep remembering, folks, that you are truly amazing.